importance of your financial team. Now, at the moment, at the time of recording, we are mid-May and the end of the financial year is just around the corner. And I mean, I talk about the importance of a financial team every single week of the year, but now is absolutely the time that you really need to have a think about your financial team. So what does that mean? So when I'm talking about your financial team, I'm talking about your tax accountant, your bookkeeper, and potentially your business coach as well. Anybody who is helping you achieve the financial goals of your business. Now, I have had my bookkeeping business, Efficient Tradie Bookkeeping, for over 11 years. We've always worked with trades-based businesses there, and I'm seeing a really sharp increase in people who are in a mess financially as a result of their zero file not being up to date. I'm also seeing a large number of people who think their zero file is up to date, and it's actually not. The data and the information that is in there is not correct and it's not current. And what I'm seeing is a couple of reasons for that. Sometimes, yes, it is the business owner who has been slack and just hasn't done their part and hasn't kept it up to date. But I'm also seeing an increase where people have hired professionals to do the bookkeeping and do the tax, and that part hasn't been done. Now, I'm absolutely not saying that all bookkeepers and all tax accountants are doing this, not at all. And I'm also not saying that it is completely their fault. But what I see is a disconnect between what you need as the business owner and what the bookkeeper and the tax accountant are doing and how they're implementing things. And I feel like people aren't talking to each other. And one thing that I insist on, whether you work with us in from a bookkeeping perspective or whether you work with me and my team from a financial coaching perspective, I insist on having communication with your bookkeeper and your tax accountant so we can all be on the same page. Now, that's not the norm, unfortunately, but it absolutely is. And when I reach out to bookkeepers and accountants, for the most part, many of them are super excited to be able to collaborate with myself and the business owner to help them improve their financial situation. So the quickest and easiest way to know whether your zero file is up to date or not is to have a look at your dashboard. If you've got more than 10 unreconciled items on any bank account, the answer is no. If you look at your invoices and it tells you you're owed $20,000 and you think that can't be right, or you look at your bills and it says you owe $75,000 and you're like, that's wrong, your data is not up to date. Your data is not correct. And that makes every single thing in your business harder. Now is the perfect opportunity to do something about it. In fact, any time is the perfect opportunity to do something about it. And what I suggest that you do is, firstly, go back to your bookkeeper and ask them, hey, why is my zero file not up to date? Now, it could be because they're waiting for you to give them some information. You may very well have forgotten. It might have been miscommunicated. Whatever the reason is, it doesn't really matter. But just ask, what can we do to get my zero file up to date? You just let your financial team know that when you look at the dashboard of Xero, that it should be pretty much spot on. Now, given if your bookkeeper does the work on a Monday, for example, and you're looking at it on a Friday, there's going to be some things that aren't quite up to date because of those few days. I highly recommend that you work with your bookkeeper to get them to have the bookkeeping done on a particular day. So for example, a Thursday morning, and then you go in on Thursday afternoon and you know that your dashboard is showing you all your up-to-date data. And that should be done absolutely without fail every week. And for some businesses, it should be done multiple times a week. If that is not happening in your business and you don't feel like you can go back to your bookkeeper and ask for that, or you don't feel like you've got a great relationship with your bookkeeper, then please reach out, send me an email, katie@profitfirstfortradies.com.au, put in the subject line bookkeeping, and we can have a chat. Same goes for your tax accountant. If you haven't or aren't about to have a tax planning meeting with your accountant around this time every year, then it's time to reach out to your accountant and ask them if you can do that. So what is a tax planning meeting? What it is it is a time for your accountant to have a look at the current financial year, see how you're going year to date, and help advise you on any steps that you can take to help you reach your your desired tax outcomes. Now that could be different, or that will be different for everybody. So some people have a tax minimization strategy. Some people have strategies where they need to earn X amount from a personal perspective because they've got lending and they've got personal requirements that they need to. Whatever that tax strategy is should be specific to you, and you should discuss that with your accountant. And that tax planning meeting is where you get to see how you're going year to date, if there are any changes that need to be made prior to the end of the financial year, because after 30 June, nothing you can do, or there's very, very little you can do that's going to change your financial situation for the year already past. If you're not having that conversation with your accountant, then I highly recommend that you do. If the only time you are speaking to the accountant is when they send you back your tax returns each year, then again, I highly recommend that firstly you go back to them and you have a conversation with them and ask them, can we have a chat once or twice a year about my business, about the tax situation of my business? Because keep in mind, your tax accountant is the specialist in tax for your business. They are the only people who can advise you on the tax implications of anything to do with your business. If you get a bit of a lackluster response from them, then maybe it's time to find a new accountant. There are many amazing accountants out there, and if you're not getting what you want from your current, whether that be bookkeeper, whether it be accountant, whether that be business coach, whether it be any supplier, I always say first, go back, have a conversation with them, be really clear to them about what you want. And then if they can't provide that, then it's time to find somebody else. As I said, I'm having a run the last few months of lots of clients coming on board for bookkeeping and coaching who are in a real financial mess. And it has been because of a combination of the business owner not really knowing what they need to ask, and just lack of communication between that financial team. And the thing is, it can be solved, it can be fixed. It's not a difficult fix, but so many businesses just don't do it. And I really, if you take nothing else away from this video, is just to reach out to your financial team and have a conversation with them about what you want out of your business, what's coming up in the next financial year. Anything that you've been wondering and wanting to ask them about, please reach out to them now. If, as I said, you want to have a chat about what it would look like for us to do your bookkeeping here at Efficient Tradie Bookkeeping, send me an email, katie@profitfirstfortradies.com.au. And if now is the time that you've been thinking and sitting on the fence about Profit First, now's as good a time as any to get started on that as well. So again, send me an email, katie@profitfirstfortradies.com.au, and we can book in a chat and just have a look. I can go through what your options are, and then at least you can make a decision based on all the information. Have an amazing day.